Hi again everyone, Scott Pyre Popcorn fan here, and in this video, something I want to do is a bit of a retrospective on another Planet of the Apes project, which actually, thinking about it, because the Planet of the Apes TV show that aired in 1974, when next year is 2024, which means 84, 94, 04. 1424. That's 50 years. So the Planet of the Apes 1974 TV show will be 50 years old next year. So yeah, that'll be another anniversary for another Planet of the Apes project next year. Which is funny because of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes coming out next year, which is why I want to do this retrospective of the TV show and how there's certain aspects of the 1974 TV show that I can see going into Kingdom a little bit, because this original TV show that aired in 1974, like the ape society is actually in a very similar location as like the reboot franchise, because in the reboot franchise, it's California and like Northern California, San Francisco, and the 1974 TV show actually in a very similar location, because there's ruins of cities like Oakland in this show. So yeah, it's like Northern California. So that's definitely something worth noting about this original TV show that aired 1 year after Battle for the Planet of the Apes came out. And I think that's rather fascinating, and this TV show is an example of how they did sort of a sequel story to Battle that took place like roughly 400 years later after the end of Battle, because that flash forwarded to the Lawgiver, and it was the 2600s, and then you get to the TV show and it's 400 years later in like 3085. So that's quite the time jump, similarly to how Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is going to be 100 or 200 years later after war. And I think that's rather fascinating, kind of a bit of a parallel there. And also, you have the characters of this show, Galen, played by Roddy McDowall, who has definitely grown as an actor as the old franchise went on. It was really fascinating seeing Roddy McDowall doing this new portrayal of this other character as Galen on this series. And this series follows a similar plot as, say, the original film, because you're also following Ron Harper and James Naughton as the two human leads on the series, as Burke and Peter Burke, and also Alan Verdon, that's their names. And like I said, like the pilot episode of the show follows a similar premise as the original 68 film, where they get caught by the gorillas, and there's this whole thing where you get this new version of the Zayas character played by Booth Coleman, who I also thought did a really decent job in his performance as well in the episodes that he appeared in on this show. And also how, in a way that you can sort of see how this TV show might have had a little bit of influence on Kingdom, because there are quite a few filler episodes in this show where you have Burke and Alan and Galen going to different communities of apes. They're also working with humans, and how they're all different, like how all these different communities of apes are different from one another. There's even this one episode where there's this gorilla that's sort of like a tyrant in a way, and he's sort of butts heads with the main villain of the show, General Urgo, and I think that's really fascinating. And there's just very many things about this series that I can see have a little bit of influence on the new film Kingdom. And and I think that's just rather fascinating, and this show, while I don't think it's perfect, there are certain aspects about it where, like, there's this piece of technology that Alan finds, and they try to figure out what this piece of technology means and what it can mean for the future, or how the characters get back to their time, and they figure out where they are. Is the future Earth in 3085, and this whole thing with Zaius trying to unpack the history of humankind in the episodes that he's in. And that's really fascinating because they find like this old book that actually shows the idea that humans used to fly. And there's even like one of the last episodes of the show where Peter and Alan and Galen help this one guy learn how to fly with this kind of invention, which I thought was rather fascinating. And that was actually the last episode of the season, which was unfortunate that this show only got one season. And then like 1 year after this show ended, they tried to do an animated show as well, which I have seen, but I like the live action series more. And overall, like, I do think this is a decent season of television within the Planet of the Apes franchise. And if they ever like do another TV show, which I feel like they very well could, I feel like the new movie Kingdom could very well lend itself to getting a TV spin-off that could continue with other characters in this new world that Westball is creating. And that's really fascinating and really exciting, not gonna lie. I think definitely I liked Urko's character more in this show than I did Aldo in Battle for the Planet of the Apes. I thought the actor did a better job as a villainous gorilla in this show compared to Aldo's character in Battle for the Planet of the Apes. I thought he was a better villain. There's also there was even this one episode where he gets trapped with Peter Burke underground, and there's this whole scene where they have to work together, but Urko can't stand him, and it's a really fascinating episode where Urko finds out that humans used to keep apes in cages in zoos and things like that, with this poster that was on the wall. And well, it went to a pretty great episode. It was probably one of my favorite episodes of the season. And and also there's another episode where like there's this disease that strikes a village amongst humans, and that's also one of my other favorite episodes that also I believe Booth Coleman had an appearance as Zaius in. And and there's another episode where it sort of delved into like sort of gas, like Germany, like World War II kind of stuff, and it almost felt like it kind of been like an occult maybe within one of the villages of apes. And that was an interesting episode, but probably also one of my least favorite episodes of the season. But overall, I thought it was a really good show for what it was, and I definitely think that might be some influence from this show with Kingdom, and seeing how that lends to the story with Kingdom Planet of the Apes, and whatever sequels come after, and a possible spin-off show as well. I cannot wait for what happens next with this franchise. Once Kingdom comes out next year, I cannot wait for this movie. I'm super excited. So this is my retrospective of the Planet of the Apes TV show that first aired in 1974, and definitely look forward to more updates from me for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Whenever we release another trailer and we get more info, I'll definitely do more updates. All right, guys, take care and have a great day. Peace.